Hey everyone, this is Darcy. This is a little up-to-date video on ataxia, raising awareness on episodic ataxia. I've struggled with episodic ataxia since I was 9 years old, and I didn't get diagnosed until I was 17 years old. It was a long road and journey to just getting a diagnosis. And I want to share with you my journey so far. When my journey first began, it was a little bit confusing because I had symptoms very much similar to other disorders. I don't know. Panic attacks, anxiety, hypoglycemia, diabetes, whatever, you name it. And I was tested for all these different conditions. Cardiac tests, EEGs, EKGs, the list goes on, blood work after blood work, and they all came back that everything was okay, and that's how my journey began. And several years later I finally got the diagnosis that I've been waiting for, only because it has made me suffer so many years. So I was relieved to receive a diagnosis. I was put on exozilamide, also known as Diamox, to treat the symptoms of the episodes of episodic ataxia type 2, which is, I have type 2. But the thing about exozilamide or Diamox is that for some people it does not even help the symptoms. And for me personally, it started helping the episodes earlier on. But the longer you are on it, the possibility of it becoming as less effective than it was when you first started it. So up to date, to this day, my episodes are still well controlled, but I still have episodes of vertigo and dizziness and vomiting here and there, and it has interfered with my work. And but I'm still working, luckily. But up to date, that's how things have been going. And earlier on in my journey, I've been to several neurologists. I've had neurological examinations. And earlier on in this disease, chances of you having ataxia in between episodes as well, which episodic ataxia type 2 can be associated with progression of ataxia permanently. Like, you'll have ataxia despite of having episodes. But most likely earlier on in the illness, you have no ataxia in between episodes, or no nothing, and it's very hard to pinpoint while you have this ataxia, because it's just intermittent ataxia, which means it comes and goes, and you go in to see the doctor during not during an episode, and they don't see it, or they look over it, or they easily miss it. And so that's why it took so many years to get this diagnosis, because many are not knowledgeable about it. And episodic ataxia is so rare, less than 1 in 1,000, I think. And they're still learning about it. They're still doing research, whatever, on it, because it's so rare. And there are very little treatment options for ataxia in general. And it's not easy having ataxia. There are several different types of ataxia, and not one of them are easy. They're all debilitating illnesses, just differently. And you know, we all deal with things differently. We all cope with things differently. They all come with different challenges. So with episodic ataxia type 2, as it progresses, you can display nystagmus, which is jerky eye movements, in between episodes as well, and even ataxia, which is balance and coordination problems in between episodes. And basically, when you have episodes, it just gets worse. That's what episodic ataxia is about. And the term episodic ataxia can be extremely misleading because a lot of people tend to have these other signs in between episodes as well. And they can have eventually develop cerebellum atrophy of the cerebellum. I luckily don't have that. And my doctor sees no point in keeping up with my MRIs and stuff to see if I develop atrophy. So, but my current state with episodic ataxia is in between episodes, I have jerky eye movements. So when I move my eye left to right, you can see that they jerk. And the neurologist would test this every time I go in to see him. And the last time I went in, they were jerking pretty good. But so far my heel to toe testing was not as bad, but I have some dysmetria, which is overshooting or undershooting a target, having trouble judging distance, like in finger to nose testing that the neurologist does during an exam. I have some coordination problems in my arms and fingers. So, and, but this is an awareness video, so this is why I'm making this video. And I just landed in the hospital this past Saturday. I was in the emergency room because the doctor tried me on an anti-seizure medication and to help the vertigo I've been experiencing as this late. And it induced an episode because episodic ataxia is triggered by certain things. Can be medication, caffeine, or physical exertion, a fever, or anything like that. So I was in the hospital to get checked out. They did an EKG, which was normal, and they did blood work, which indicated I had low potassium in my blood. And that was this past Saturday. The new medication induced an episode really bad. And I was incapable of walking and coordinating my arms and legs, and I was jerking like really, really bad. I felt like I was having a seizure or something. But it passed as the medication wore off of my system. So, but, yeah, symptoms from episodic ataxia type 2 are difficulty walking, poor balance or coordination, nystagmus, jerky eye movements, nausea, vomiting, vertigo, dizziness, dysmetria, and progressive ataxia in between episodes. Sometimes the need to use a wheelchair during episodes. Later on, and people don't know this, but some people, as they develop progressive ataxia with episodic ataxia type 2, as it progresses, you know, may require a walker or something. People with episodic ataxia can have seizures. That's about it. Yeah. So that's all I gotta say. I think I covered everything that I can think of. But anyway, raise awareness. Bye now.